The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to McStabber Studios. As you can see, you have a black screen that just shows my OBS. Of course, I'm Shanky McStabber, showing... Today, we're going to talk about how to set up OBS. So that's why it's a blank screen. Right now, we have nothing set up. It is just a blank share. You can see my mouse. Now, as part of this, the reason we're doing this is there's never been many guides on how to stream a TTRPG, but there's a lot of guides on PC streaming. So we learned the hard way over time, all these tricks. So I've decided to share them all so that other people can maybe do it as well. So the first thing we're going to go into is right off the bat, you need to go into your settings of OBS after you've installed it. Okay. Now, a lot of this stuff doesn't matter. If you're going to record your streams or you want a recorded backup, the very first setting I tell you to check, automatically record when streaming. I do this. A lot of people do. That way you don't have to download a video off of Twitch after you've streamed it to upload it to YouTube. And those that have ever tried to download the video off Twitch understand it takes a while and it doesn't work well. Okay. Now, as you scroll through these, I'm just going to go right through all these settings here to make sure I talk about the big ones that should be checked. Show preview program labels, make sure that's there. You'll understand when I get to that point. Your stream, you set it to Twitch, let it auto connect to server. You connect your account. That's standard stuff. Now the output, here's where it gets tricky. Everyone will want a different output setting. I'm using an NVIDIA card. So I use the NVIDIA encoder, which it's grayed out because we're live. We can't change it. And there's a set of settings here. These settings are based off of what NVIDIA says to use. Rate control CBR, which is constant bit rate. You want to set your bit rate to 6,000. That is the limit Twitch will give you. If you don't have a fast internet connection, you may have to cut that back to 4,500 or 4,000 or 3,000. But if you have a fast internet connection, you'll want your bit rate at 6,000. Anything over that's wasted. Twitch don't let you upload unless you're a partner above 2,600. Twitch is being laggy. On my end, it looks like it's okay. Relyn can check to see if it's all right on her end because she's beside me. Keyframe Interval, NVIDIA says set it to 2. Max quality presets, profile high. You enable look ahead, psycho visual tuning. I will admit, I don't know what these settings do. NVIDIA says set them. And since you're using NVIDIA cards, set them. It's optimized by theirs. For the recording, this is if you're going to record it while you're streaming it or just record it. You can set the same settings over here, except they tell you to set it to CQB and a 15 CQ level. And it lets you select which audio track. That's not needed. Now, the audio, here's the first big trip. You ready for a big trick? When you go into settings, one of the first things you have to do, this global audio devices right here, this little setting, set all of these to disabled. If you leave any of these enabled, what will happen is you'll end up with an awful echo because it adds automatic audio feeds if they're defined here. But if you do that, either you will have echo, or when you're on break, they'll hear the players talking on break. Or if you check the music, they'll hear the music echo. Save yourself pain. Set all of these to disabled, please. Just do it. Trust me. The rest of the settings here don't matter. The monitoring device is a very specific setting that we're not going to go into here. If you go on our Discord, there is a guide on advanced audio setup for OBS and Zoom. That is covered in there, why I use a special setting here. It's not needed for TTRPG streams normally. Your video. If you have a good computer, 1920 by 1080. If not, set it down a notch to 720. It's a question of whether you have a computer that can do it, honestly. Otherwise, 1920 by 1080 is the best quality. FPS, 60 FPS for the smoothest video. But again, if your computer can't handle it, please don't try it. You'll notice right down here in the corner, I have the stats box open. If I start seeing a lot of missed frames, stopped frames, that tells me I'm doing more than my computer can handle. You can check right there to watch as you do a stream and adjust if you start having problems. Your hotkeys, I don't use any hotkeys. You can set them up. It's up to you. I don't need them. I use a mouse for everything. The advanced settings, this is where you can set the name of your files when you name them. Another big one to have is enable browser source hardware acceleration. That's if you use a browser thing that's it's needed for some parts. Okay, so there's your main settings. Now, once you go into that, you'll see you have a black screen. I have it set as blank here. The very first thing to consider is, well, let's give myself a camera so people can see me. So you go this little plus down here, video capture device. Now I've already got one right here, but we'll add a new one. I'll add my existing camera and I'll show you the settings. Here I am. I'm using my NVIDIA broadcast, which is the camera feed through my card. It's set to defaults. If you have an issue with it doesn't look right, it's grainier than it should, you can go into here, set your custom resolution and set it to your camera's resolution. And then you make sure it's the right camera resolution. I've noticed a Logitech 920, a lot of people use them. It'll default to 640 by 480 and you won't realize it. And if you set it to custom and enable it to forced resolution, it will use the proper resolution for you. So that's the secret on that. Now look, I'm too big. Let's grab this little box here in the corner and let's shove me out of the way for a second while I work. Okay, so you have a camera feed. Well, good, but nobody wants to watch a black screen. Sorry. So the first thing we're going to do is I layer all of my overlays in sections. For those that know the channel, I pre-record most of our episodes, but I pre-record the episodes exactly as it'll stream. And I do the same thing when I stream. It's the same setup, so nothing's different. So the first layer you want to put is the background, what's behind everybody. So I'll add an image. We're going to name it background. And we'll call it the base because it's the base background. Now we'll go here. I'm going to go over to my Chicago by Night folder because that's where, as you can see, we're recreating Chicago by Night. I got a whole bunch of files here. Our base jade background. Everyone should be familiar with that. Now we've lost my camera. See this? This is the order. Whatever's at the top sets on top. Think of it as paper. I've got a whole bunch. I've got 2 sheets of paper. The one that has my camera, the picture of my camera is on the bottom sheet. You can't see it anymore. So we'll drag the base under me. Right there. Ta-da. We now have a base. Now, everyone has a different way that they like to do their layouts. Here at McStabber Studios, we like to maximize camera view and minimize wasted space that shows nothing on the screen. So I've developed what I call the Shanky Grid. And the Shanky Grid's rather simple. I name it overlay because I like to name things based on what their purpose is. Cut out grid. We'll add that in. Now we're going to add the next image. And you'll be familiar with this one. It's just a transparent image. And I will drag it under my camera for now, under my camera for now, and I lock it in place so I can't move it. That look familiar, everybody? That's what you're used to seeing. Okay? Now, the reason we do this is if I drag my camera under me, you'll see the grid's over me. So when I'm positioning my camera, I don't have to be perfect. All I have to do is make sure I don't do that. Just drag it, make sure it falls under there, and now I have a perfectly clean camera edge for my feed. Now, if I was on top, this is what you'd end up seeing. And you'll see it doesn't give a refined look. So that's why we do it with that. Cool. Now we've got a camera, but my audio, you've got no audio down here. While you can hear me, this stream, if I went live now, would have no audio. So let's add some audio in. If you're using a mic, audio input capture. And I always name them. This is Mike Shanky. I'm going to go down. I'm going to select my device. It's my Shure microphone. Now, there's a little background noise. That's the next thing we're going to talk about. To get good audio, there's some tweaks you need to do. Very first thing, you go here, click this little gear. Filters. We're going to add an audio filter. Very first thing is a noise suppressor. It helps cut down background noise. Now, there's two different methods. There's RN noise, which is a new one. It's a high quality noise reduction. Or you can use this one, which is a lower quality with a slider. The more you set it to the left, the more noise reduction, but it impacts how people sound. So I just use normally this for the bass one, and that'll cut some of the background noise. But I mean, when I make other noises, you'll hear it. If I do this, it starts making noises. We don't want that. So we're going to get rid of that. We use what's called an expander next. And the order is important. The expander, if you are below a certain audible level, it shoves the audio signal down. Now, you don't want a crazy expander. What I do is I go over here, we set this to -20, and it means anything below -20 is going to get softer. And I'll show you on the bar down here. You're going to spend a lot of time looking at this. This is your audio meter, 5, 10, 15. Here's the -20. So anything lower than 20 goes down by 2 dB for every under. So basically, the softer it is under 20, the further it goes down. Well, let's not use a 2. Let's go 1.2. And the reason I use 1.2 is soft noises that are down in this range will almost not be heard. But if I whisper, and whispering like this, I can still be heard because I have the same settings on the other computer. So you can still hear me whisper without it being a problem. Okay. Output gain, I put it back to 3 on the expander because whenever you do this, you lose a little. And what this allows is that if somebody bumps the table, let's say, it just softens it. If I start beating the keyboard, you don't even hear that because it shoved it too far down. Now we go for our next setting. It's called a compressor. What this does is if people get too loud, it cuts back how loud they are. Default settings are great. So anytime somebody gets over this level, it starts to prevent them from getting too much louder. Now, as you can see, I can still get loud as shit. It just reduces it some. And the final trick that not enough people do is you put a limiter at the end at a -6 dB. What this tells the computer is no matter how loud somebody gets, don't let them go above this point on your meter. So no matter how loud they scream, no matter how loud they yell, they will not exceed to the point it blows up somebody's eardrums. Trust me on that. That's important. So now that we've set up our filters, okay, here's the key I do on audio. You want, when you're doing your pre-audio checks, which we do before every stream, you want to try to keep the players, when they're talking their normal voice, above this -20 mark and in this yellow range for most of their speech. If they peak above it, like I do sometimes, that's fine. But you want to generally keep, when they start a sentence, in this area, and that's what's called a good audio level. Yes, the sudden spike is a problem. Now, if you have one player who's always talking down here, and you'll notice I'm notably softer, you'll have to have them bring their volume up. Because if you have wildly differing volumes, people can't understand you. So now you see, this is my volume level. Okay. Now my camera has a volume slider. Mute that. If you don't want to see it because you're not going to use it, hide it. Okay. So now we've got a layout. I don't have other players. It's time to add some players in. Now I use Zoom. A lot of people use Zoom. Some use Skype. Some use Google Meet, whatever program you're using. You go down here to your sources. You can add a window capture. Okay. And I always name it Zoom capture. This is your Zoom. Comes up. Hey, look, there's our Zoom. But that's not the one we want. We want to capture this. Now, one thing I always do, don't leave it on automatic. Please set this to Windows Display Capture, Windows 10. Okay. and turn off capture cursor. Because as you can see right now, if I leave capture cursor on, it'll start capturing my cursor over here, and you don't want that. So always turn that off, please. I've made that mistake for a number of seasons, not to do that. Now, of course, we got a small problem. We don't need everybody like that. We've got windows. First, a second big trick, hold down alternate. See this little thing here? Grab exactly on the red square and hold alternate. And you can crop the video without changing the sizes. So we'll crop down to just a Beast Hunter. Look at this. Thank you for my special helpers, Relin and Beast Hunter here. Beast Hunter's a member of our Discord. Great member of the community, but he's decided to help me. We'll crop him down. Now look, now we got a Beast Hunter. What we'll do is we're going to drag him under the cutout. We'll make him smaller. We'll put him in here. Now the beauty of this particular method, as you can see, we're maximizing space, but now he's over the edges. That's fine. We'll hold down alternate. We'll trim this side. We'll trim this side. If we wanted to make him bigger, watch this. We can make him bigger. Make him closer to my size. We'll put him like this. And then we'll just hold down alternate. And look, we'll just trim out Beast Hunter, everything behind him. Bam. Now we have a Beast Hunter. Yep. I always crop out the zoom. I crop out the players' names, their actual names. They're signed into Zoom. I crop out the yellow bander when speaking because we don't like that. So we got me and a player. We need another player. We're going to window capture again. Zoom capture 2. We'll go down here again. We're going to select Zoom. Oh, that's not the right window. Zoom meeting. That's the right window. And we'll set it to, don't use automatic. A lot of times with automatic, you have a gray screen. Don't do it. And now we have a Relin we want to capture. So let's grab down here. We'll come over here. We'll bring her over here. We'll capture this one. And we'll shrink her down at the top. Again, hold alternate. And then we'll not hold alternate and we'll resize her. We'll put her behind everybody else on the cutout grid. Because remember, cutout grids are our overlay, our grid, as you can see. And then we'll center her where we want her. I think she's good enough in size. We don't need to make her any difference in size other than we need to fill the whole box. There we go. Maybe a little bigger so that it can be clipped here to make it perfectly fit inside her little box, a square. Now, I'm going to show you why we use the overlay grid rather than what a lot of people do with just building one graphic. If I turn the overlay grid off, you'll notice how the cameras, there's no clearly defined lines. It's just one into the other. If you do like we do with Windy City, where we all have the same backgrounds, it's going to blur to the point with no distinction between players. So that's why I use this little grid I've made that I put on top. And there you go. See, now you can see we've got 3 players. But now we've got another problem though. You can't hear them. Yeah, there's no audio. So now we did audio in capture for mics or for your mic. That's not what you need for players. The players are audio outputs. So you hit audio output capture. We're going to name this audio. Yes. And we're going to select our output, which for me is our speakers. Now I'm going to mute my mic so that when Relin talks or Beast Hunter talks, or Relin who's in the room, you won't hear her. And now the guests can speak, and you won't hear them on the stream, unfortunately, because of the way this is set up. So unfortunately, they can't hear you. They won't be able to hear you because of my pass-through configuration. It's unfortunate. But they got a bar. Now we've got to do their filters. Guests should have filters too. Immediately, what did we say before? Noise suppression. That gets rid of the hiss on their line, the background noises, the little things you'll hear on somebody's of, shh, that kind of stuff. We don't want any of that. So we'll do that. There we go. Actually, let me do this real quick. I'm going to do this. I will let the guests hear you. I'm going to do this, set it here. It's an advanced setting. I'm just going to do it quick because trust me, this is more than normal. I'm going to output this to our Pix Prime, which is my captured monitor. Now I'm going to reach over to my other computer. And let's see if the guest talk gets any sound. Let's see. Now you can hear her.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Now you should be able to hear the guest players, even
Go
the people
ahead,
on
Steve.
stream.
1, 2, 3.
Which is cool because I see the bar moving.
Okay.
So, yep. So we'll do a noise suppression.
Filter relin, that's right.
I leave it on this
one.
one. You can use the speaks for lower usage. But again, we're going to do the same things. We want to put an expander to push any background noises. In particular, an expander deals with chair noises that people do or table bumps that they do because it happens. And it helps with the guest players because Zoom is not very good always at doing what you want. So let me see. We want to go all the way down to -20 again. There we go. And we're going to set it to, I like 1.2 for this. Everyone has their own settings. And then we're going to put another 3 output gain here. Not 4, 3. Not 30. There we go. And now we have this. Now, if you watch when the players talk, go ahead and guess. Give me some talking.
Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3.
And
So
we are here today teaching y'all
You'll
how
notice
to
Beast Hunter
do
is lower
awesome audio
than
and
Relin.
video for your
So
stream.
if we were going to stream,
Yes,
I would
we
either
are
tell
doing
Relin to lower her volume and then increase everybody's volume at once, or I would tell Beast Hunter to raise his volume. Now, I'm not going to have them doing it here because if they're not in a normal stream, I don't want to make people fiddle with their settings all the time. But now we're at our compressor in. We'll use the default settings. We'll even give it a 3 makeup, which actually might help. And then we'll finally limit everybody. Same settings as before. Noise suppression, expander, compressor, limiter. And that is all to cut down background noise, push down any noises you don't want them to hear, breaths, big one. Make sure when they get loud, it doesn't go too loud too quickly, and then limiter, stop from blowing your shit up. So now we have this. Okay, well, I'm green and they're not. I got to fix that. So let's fix that. We'll go to Shanky's camera. We'll add a filter. We're going to do a chroma key of green. And now I don't have a background. How do we fix that? We're going to do an image. We'll go background, because I like to use a consistent naming, player, Shanky. And then we go and we're going to browse to my image collection here that I have for it. And let's see, backgrounds. I've got one whole folder for it. There's my dark background. It's a little big, so we're not going to hold control. We're just going to make this a reasonable damn size. There we go. Drop it behind my camera, because if we put it behind the grid, it's blocking me. Drop it behind the camera. Now let's figure out how much we want to show. Out like that. Yep. And now we'll hold down alternate and we'll crop me down some so that we can make it fit. And now I have my green screened background showing behind me. You'll see this is looking familiar for me in Windy City. And for other players, you just add them in all your squares. Each one's their own window captures you see over here. If you have a player not there that day, all you have to do is turn off one of the cameras. It's that simple. Now, we need names. Some people bake the names into their overlay. I suggest not doing that because if Beast Hunter, you're Lamar today. You get to be Lamar. But if Lamar's not here and I've added his name to the overlay as part of the overlay, what happens when he's not here? There's still a box that says Lamar's there, but he's not here. Well, I don't do it that way. What I do is I use OBS. I go to text, GDI. We're going to add, we'll do name, Lamar. We'll go and select our font. We use a French script is our one we like to use. We'll start with a size 22. We'll probably change size. We don't know. And we'll go. That is way too small. As you can see, it's itty bitty up here in the corner. Look at that. That's way too small. Holy hell. Let's make him 48 in size. Let's see. Better. Now, some people will take it small and drag it. I'm going to show you what happens if I do that. If I left it at 28, well, here, it's 26, and I just decide, well, I need it bigger, and I do this. Look what happens. That's hard to see, right? It doesn't look right. But if I put it back, and we'll revert, once you've drug it and change it, you don't want to do that. You need to reset the transform to base. And now I go and do 72 point. Look how sharp and crisp that is. But look, he's got a white shirt on, people. Now you can't see it, but we'll fix that too. You go down here, you go outline. Give it a color, black. How much size? We want to go 5 pixels out on the black. We can go more. We'll do, what do we got this one to? 8. And there we go. Now we can center Lamarcade right there. Welcome, Lamar.
Thank you.
Yeah, plan, fuck around,
It's
find out.
good
Plan, I'll fuck you up. It's great, isn't it?
Could be clan.
Now, as you'll see,
fuck around.
if
find
he's
out.
not here, I turned it off. Now, I don't
Yeah.
want to be, I'm lazy. I don't want to keep manually setting everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the LAN or Lamar, and then I'll paste duplicate, not a reference. Reference means if you change one, both change. Duplicate means you get a brand new entry. We lock the first one. Don't forget to lock it or you'll drag it. Now look, we got 2 Lamars. But we need Jacqueline Durand. And we'll grab that. We'll center it on here. And look what we got. We'll lock Jackie. Yep. Now we'll do another duplicate. We need Storyteller.
Jackie, the queen of get shit done.
Storyteller. We'll put me up here. There we go. Now we'll lock them. Now over here, I will go through always and rename so I'm not getting confused as to who is whose. This is Jackie. And we rename this one to Storyteller. You'll notice the whole key to the way I set everything up is layers. But that's because if Jackie's not there, I kill her layer. If a guest player is going to be in that spot that night, I can move Jackie somewhere else and put the guest player in there. And we do one of these for each player's in the game. Now we're going to do, we got clan symbols. Got to have your clan symbols, right? So we add another image. I'm going to name this one clan symbol. And this is going to be Ventru. We'll do that one first. So we add a clan symbol. Browse my images. I've already got these made because I make all my images for it. Go up a level. Go to, where is it? Clan symbols. Ventru 100 because I've made a bunch of them 100 by 100 pixels. I don't like where that's setting. We're going to move it down slightly. And there we go. We've got a Ventru. Let's lock that so I don't accidentally move it because I'm prone to accidentally moving stuff. Let's do another image. We're going to do clan symbol. La Sombras. Sure, we like La Sombra around here. We love some La Sombra. La Sombra 100 because it's set to a standard size I use. And we'll put a La Sombra symbol right here. See the line up? Yep, that looks, needs to go up slightly. We'll put it right there. And lock La Sombra. Look at that. Yep. And we're going to do the same for the Twitter names. You just add in a new text field
Now
as
we
a
have
Twitter
the
name.
crown.
And that way, if they're not here, all you have to do is pull their names off the list. You don't have squares that have names for players that aren't present. And it just makes it easy to flip between the two. And it's my standard base. Now, for those who watch the stream know, we have fancy little graphics in the corner. It's a media source in our case. We've made a video, a slideshow video. So we have a media source of bio videos. So let's pull that out. I go back here. We go to my Chicago by Night folder. And we're going to find through all of this shit. There's a bio video in here. I got to find where it is. Plunder, Wendy, starting soon. Dude, I'm going to find it. It's in here. Top row middle. Yep, right here, bio videos. Now, because it's a looping video, we want it to loop. We want to use hardware acceleration. We don't want to show nothing because then it'll go black screen when it's done. and we have this video. Too big. But we put it in this box right here. We drop it under our cutaway and then lock it in place. And you'll see we have Jackie here. It's going to cut over here in a second. By the way, if anyone has any questions about what I'm doing, feel free to ask in chat. I will answer them while I'm doing this. If you wonder why we've come with this method. Now I can see already, look how close that is. The Y is touching. That's a problem. Let's unlock that. And we're going to make it a little smaller. There we go. That fits it, right? Even though, isn't there a border on this side? I'm going to make it a little smaller on the other side too. The beauty of this is once you set it up, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Let's see. Now, if it starts doing this, you notice it's snapping. I don't want it to snap. I hold down Control, and now it'll stop the snapping. And I can move it exactly, position it where I want, like that. Now we got to add our other one. I'm going to show you this, though. If you do not want to make a video of a slideshow, you can go down here. There is a, let me find it, image slideshow instead. So let's do it as a slide format, okay? We want it to slide mode automatic. That's fine. We want it to fade. 8,000 milliseconds is 8 seconds, but that's too soon. So let's do 24 seconds, okay? And then we're going to do a hit here, hit plus. We're going to add a directory. And you'll notice I have a folder called Character BIOS. And there's the same thing. It's just the older BIOS. You can do it with slideshow if you don't have a video. I've found the slideshow lags a little when it transitions over. As you can see, I now have 77 frames missed due to encoding lag because of it trying to pull the slideshow, so I don't use them anymore. But if you don't have a way to make a slideshow into a video, go ahead and do it. It's fine. Once it starts, you won't have the lag from it. But I use pre-made bio videos. And now we're going to add our other media. Got one more to add. This is our logo and stream. That goes in my other area. And that's why I like this 3x3 grid, because if you have 6 players, storyteller, you've got 2 open spots just for this. So we'll do this. We want it to loop, hardware acceleration. We don't want it to show nothing, and we'll say okay. Look familiar? Drop that under the cutouts again. Remember, this is all stacks of paper. At the bottom is the bottom of your stack of paper. So it builds it from the bottom up. So as long as the cutout is over this, there you go. And now you'll see we have the McStabber logo, and in a few seconds, it's going to switch to Windy City After Dark. And that's how we transition the two the whole time. And it works well. Now, you're going to find one problem when you're playing in Zoom. Zoom cannot capture the video, your camera at the same time as it captures in OBS, unless you have a capture card or a very specific type of camera. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Let me make this down here. We'll just put this here. And I'm going to tell Zoom to use my webcam. It can't, because OBS has my webcam. Okay. Now there is a solution. The solution, you see right here, start virtual camera built into OBS. You hit that button. You go down here in Zoom. You tell it to use OBS's virtual camera and start. Now let's get rid of this crazy thing I added. And you'll notice, actually I got to turn it back on, don't I? Yeah. It's going to feed now my camera. Look. See? It's feeding exactly what they see, what OBS is putting out. Now, what that means is there's an advantage to this method, and it's a very good advantage. What they're seeing in Zoom is exactly what you're seeing here in this center screen right now. Here's the advantage. They can see where they're positioned on their own cameras while you're recording or you're streaming. So the remote players know if they're way over here. Yep. They know if they're setting like this and disappearing, they can see it as you're playing where they are in frame. And it lets them adjust themselves so that you're not having to constantly adjust people in frame. They can see where they are in frame. It's a great setting, but it has one downside. We're going to make a brand new scene. This is called Starting Soon. Now, these scenes over here are these layout sections. Now, when I go to Starting Soon, I just went black. Now, unfortunately, it also means this is what the people in Zoom now see is a black screen because it's showing exactly what I'm broadcasting. There's ways around it. The easy way around it, we're going to go back to up here. The easiest way around it is you right-click right here. You go Windowed Projector. And what a window projector is this. It makes a copy of what you're streaming. See right here? And then you go into Zoom, and I'm going to move my Zoom window over so you can see what I do in Zoom. We have our Zoom right here. I'm going to share the window projector. And it becomes a shared image in Zoom, which is a pinnable image. Now you'll notice we lost the cameras. Never fear. That happens. The workaround, and Zoom just crashed on me. This computer hates when I Zoom. But I'll show you the workaround as soon as I can get this to work again, because Zoom hates when I do this. There we go. Now I got my Zoom back at least, and they're back on this screen. And you notice, look, we just lost the positioning. Look at that. Ain't that a shame? Let me stop the Zoom share because we don't want that. Good. There we go. Now they're positioned right. The way to solve it is if you do that method of a window projector, all you have to do is go into Zoom. I will show you, or go into OBS right here, and you'll notice if you do that, it changes this right here. What's your Zoom meeting? There'll be a new Zoom you can switch to. Yes, you can do it with Discord, same way. Any program that you can display on a monitor and has a window, you can capture. I can do it. I've done it with Google Meet. I've done it with Skype. I've done it with Zoom. Let me do this method here. If I connect to a browser window right here, okay, and we're in a browser, guess what? You can see it. Look, I can show you. Here's this Twitch stream. I can capture it over here by just going window capture. We're going to capture. There it is. I'm capturing Firefox because that's what I have open. You can do that with Discord. You can do that with Zoom. You can do that with Skype. Anything that has a window in Windows, anything that has a display, you can grab. And if it won't work right, I've seen it happen. What you do instead is a display capture instead of a Windows capture, which will capture an entire monitor and still do the same thing. Yes, these tricks I learned by trial and error. We had a lot of problems in the beginning doing this stuff. And this is how we got around it. Now let's go back to the starting soon, because you got to have a starting soon. I've got one. What I do is I add a media source. We're going to name it starting soon. It says it's already in use. That's fine. We're going to do starting soon. Streaming. We're going to browse for a file. I've got one right here. Starting soon with fog finished. Use hardware. We loop it. We don't want to show nothing when it ends. And you'll see the familiar heart beating video that I've made. But we've got alert bots. I will say I like Zoom for the quality of what we're doing, for what it gives you. Skype, we had audio quality issues with, and Skype was just finicky about crashing. Google Meet had bad video quality. Discord isn't their best quality in general, but it works. It is valid. Zoom, for the money and for the feature set, seems to be the best I've come across in terms of streaming. And that's why we switched to it. And it's thanks to a member of our studio, Tamshu, that I learned that. Now, if you have an alert boxes are browser windows. It's kind of odd. All you do is you add a browser. We'll call it alert box. And you'll go to wherever you get your alert from. In my case, I have a Streamlabs alert. And you would paste that right here in the URL. and it would turn this into your alert box. That's all you do to add an alert box. They're pretty simple. It's a browser source. So we have our starting soon. Good. But McStabber Studios has a pre-roll. Let's add a pre-roll. We drag that up here. I like them in order that I use them. So we have a pre-roll now. Let's add a pre-roll, everybody. Media source again. Pre-roll video. And I'll browse over here. And let's see. We've got a Windy City. There's our break video. Here it is, our intro Haunted Chronicles or Call of Cthulhu teaser video. We open that one. We use the hardware. We don't want to loop this one. We don't want it to play over and over. And we don't want to show nothing when it ends. We'll hit OK. And look at that. There's our familiar pre-roll. And as I get new pre-rolls, I change the video, which one it points to. And you can see this is our normal stream pre-rolls. We got a ya boy, don't we? First, we got to do Windy City intro, because we have a special intro for it. So we'll put it here, because this is the order we do everything. It helps you if you keep it in order so that you're not missing. Okay. And this is going to be our Windy City intro video. We'll name it that. And we browse over here. Let's see. We've got Windy City voiceover full intro. That's the one that we're using. We'll hardware it. We don't want to loop it. We don't want to show nothing when it ends. We hit OK. And look at what we've got. There's our intro video. And you can see the audio levels. I always try to keep an eye on those when I'm streaming. Lock it so you don't accidentally, do this. You don't want to accidentally do that. Just hit that little lock right there. And now we have our intro video. And then we get to my favorite, ya boy. I add a new media for that one too. I keep all of these on their own, and there's a reason. The reason I do them all on their own is because by keeping them their own, I can change one piece without changing everything. The over-under on this being recycled for Mage, since I'm doing the tech, you will have a Shanky 3x3 layout. You will have a different background. We use different backgrounds for each one, but you'll have the same. I use this as a template, and then I change the pieces. That's why everything's each their own piece, because you can change it. We'll put a ya boy Twitch video. Hardware, no loop. We don't want to show nothing. And look, now we got a ya boy. And here's everyone's favorite ya boy Twitch. Look at that. And the reason each one is their own scene and their own video. Every week there's a new ya boy, right? So if I did them as one giant long intro, pre-recorded, streamed video, every time I made a ya boy, I'd have to edit the video, put the new ya boy in, take the old ya boy out. Now I just go in, and when I have a new one, I'll just go right here, hit properties, and change the video, and you get a different ya boy. I can go and hit browse right here. Let's pull up. I know there's another one. Here's another ya boy. Ta-da. I don't have to change everything. Just one little part. And then we go, start it starting soon. You've got your transitions here. There's different ones. I use fade. I could do a swipe. Here's a swipe video. We go left. So let's see. And now it swipes to the left for its transition. I don't like that. There's a whole bunch of these. I use a fade, a nice, simple, quick fade to black and fade in. And as the stream goes, if you want to see how long's left on a video, you just select your video and you watch your timers. Move to the next one. Move to the next one. And then you go to your stream. We're here. You got a break video? We have a break video. Let's add that in. Same process. You notice I'm doing the same thing over and over. Break. Let's go Windy City break video. And then we'll throw in our break video, because we update the break video a lot. If I made it part of the whole thing and I encoded it or anything else, every time I change it, I'm starting over. And I don't want to do that. And we'll drag that here. Lamar is different today. And you'll see, it's all about, once you get it set up, it's just literally, you click through on your OBS, each one in sequence, and you have it built. Now you'll notice, here's the thing I've learned about Zoom, and you'll see the same probably in Skype. Look, everyone's a little bit blurrier than they normally would be. If you want to try to fix that, you go here, you zoom capture, you hit it with a filter, and we're going to do a Sharpen Filter. Okay. And we can make Verlin stupid sharp. We can tweak whether how blurry she is, how it pulls the, how sharp she looks. You can tweak that. I use normally on all the Zoom windows, I go with a 0.15. It's just a little bit of a little sharpening. And then since I don't like having to redo them, we'll copy the filter. I'll go down here to Beast Hunter and I'll paste his filter. And now he's got the same filter. Now, what if somebody has color way off? Hey, you can fix that too right here. We'll go color correction. Let's make Beast Hunter look odd. If he's hue shift is normally what you'll see from somebody. You'll see somebody looking like that. Or they'll be this direction because their camera's not balanced right or their lighting is wrong. And you just add a color correction and you just tweak it until you get their color where you think they should be. And guess what? You fixed the problem. Do it right live. That way people can be consistent. Like in Beast Hunter's case, actually, I would put a slight correction on him because if you compare him to Relin, you'll notice it looks different. And I like to have everyone looking consistent. So we're going to give him a little more pink, but then we're going to lower the saturation a bit. And there he's now, before, after. Yeah, you can see it. You can do these little tweaks.
That is the
Now, here's part
nice
of
difference.
the big thing about Zoom, just to let you know. If someone disables their camera and they turn their camera off in Zoom, it reorders them. Beast Hunter, stop your camera in Zoom real quick and then start it back up and watch what happens. Now they're reordered. Make sure that people know not to stop the camera. If they do, if you do this little trick right here, okay, let's see, this one was Lamar. If you name this Lamar Capture, and I look over at the window, he's in Zoom 1. He's in the first spot in our Zoom. Show you. I'll bring this Zoom window over so you can see what I'm talking about. When I have this maximized, Zoom Spot 1, Zoom Spot 2, Zoom Spot 3. I've named it that for a reason, and I'm going to show you what that does. We're going to name this one Zoom Spot 3. And then you can left click a picture inside Zoom. Let's move it over so you can see what I'm doing. I want to show you. I left click this. I'm going to drag him to spot 1 because he was in Zoom Spot 1. I move her to Zoom Spot 3. Now, guess what? They're back in order. So if you name these over here with where the person is in Zoom and they disconnect and reconnect, or for your next stream, if they connect in a different order, you can look here, say, okay, this one, we're going to do rename Zoom Capture 1, Lamar Zoom 1. And drop Lamar in your first Zoom spot. Do this one. Zoom Capture 2. Jackie, she's in Zoom 3. And you can drop her in 3. That way, when people connect in a different order, if they disconnect their camera, you can look at your Zoom and order them right back where they were and not have to change it every single time. It's another good trick. And then, of course, by the way, since we're doing all of our things, we're doing stream over. You got to have an ending. And we have a very simple over, and that is our schedule. We'll add that because we add it every time. Sure, we could actually use it. There's our schedule. Now, remember back at the beginning, I said turn off, disable all the mic inputs, right? There's a reason for that. Right now, as you can see, If you don't see these bars at the bottom of your screen right here, if you see them, the guests can hear, or the viewers can hear what you're saying. But by disabling them in that setting, when you go say here, you'll notice there's no more audio. That means I put out no audio during this. So you can still talk in Zoom and people won't hear you. But watch this. You can't hear them, right? But what if I go over here? We're going to turn that setting back on. We're going to do desktop audio is going to be out to my monitor. And let's have the guest talk. Oh, wait a minute. It didn't do, hang on, I know why. Hang on. Because of my unique setup, I have to do this. There we go. Now try talking. Nope, it's not doing it on this setup because of my weird setup. But trust me when I say this, please disable those, because normally we've had streams, people we know personally, that had a problem with when they went on break, nobody could talk. You had to go to chat. And that's because they had these set to enabled. I know I can do it this way if I set it to my speakers right here. And then I set this back to what we have it set to, monitor all. You should be able to hear them now when they talk. Go ahead and talk. Now you hear them.
Trying now.
Mm-hmm.
Testing.
But there's a problem.
Yeah, now we can be heard.
Yes.
That's why you disabled that setting, so that people can talk when you are not actively streaming.
But you'll
and you
notice,
guys
look
can
over
chat
here.
in Zoom while
It's defined
things
here.
are on
It's not in my
tape
list of
or
sources.
while
So I
using
can't take it
Zoom.
out anymore. When we went here, look here, audio guess. But because of the way I just added it, I can't remove it. Disable that setting. Take my advice. Because now, only where you've added an audio source will it be picked up. Everyone else is gone. Now the bio, by the way, you'll notice it added a thing here. It doesn't have a thing. It doesn't have any audio. So just hide it. Logo and stream, it doesn't have any audio. You don't need to see it. Hide it. Now you get the question, okay, well now look, scrolling through all this, there's so much shit, it's hard to find anything. Guess what? Select all the clan symbols and names. I do it by type, so we'll do all the names. We'll say group it. Called names. Now I just have a little drop-down group I can collapse so that all the names are not individual items. Group selected. We'll do clan symbol. And now I can do that. We'll lock those. And now I don't have a whole bunch of stuff clutter in this. I get that, do that all the time. So I can add them and move them in. Makes it easier. Yes, folders are your friend. Otherwise, as you see, it gets a lot. And
Folders
so
are your
I want to
friend.
see any questions on some of these? Because the Photoshop thing's totally different. Let me tell you, doing an actual Photoshop setup, totally different on these things. And it's a lot more work. Let me just tell you, if you're going to do cutouts, make sure it's a transparent image. I say PNG because it holds transparency, and go from there. Please, one of the biggest mistakes people make, and we've seen it on a number of streams, we did it in the beginning. Don't make your background too busy. The focus on the stream should be the game being played and the players. So if you have, let me just put it out there. Let me take and add a background base. Get ready for your eyes to bleed, everybody. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull out DC by Night. Let me find our original DC by Night backgrounds. If I could find them. I may have deleted them because it was so awful. I hope I did. Because it was bad. Yep, I think I deleted them, thankfully. Because it was a god-awful bright red that burned your eyeballs completely out of your head. You don't want that. It was the equivalent of this being our entire background. Now, let me put that on top to give you a feel for how painful this was. Where did it drop it? It's drop it under the overlay. Where did it go? I'm looking for you. Did it drop him in my clan symbol? Yep, there it is. Let's put it. Okay, come on. And now I think my Zoom or my stream just crashed a bit. Yep, it's acting silly. OBS is throwing a fit, everybody, because I'm screwing around with stuff I shouldn't. Give me a second. This is not my recording box normally. I ditched that window projector. The beauty is when it crashes, I'll stop it. I'll hit restart. Guess what? It's all still there. The stream doesn't go offline right now because of the way I've got stuff set up. Guess what? I'm right back. Don't care. Where did it put my background so I can fix it? There we go. I want it up here. There's my don't do this. Look at this god-awful bright red. Now, if I put that with the players, let's put it below our captures so that you can see. What are you going to be looking at? Are you going to be watching the players, or is your eyes drawn to this red? Yeah, that's why don't make it too busy. You want something neutral that's even defined, something that doesn't draw the eye too hard to any given spot. Certainly don't put, I know some people like to do it. Let's not make this our entire background. It's okay for a player background, but now you're looking, let's turn off our videos to go with it. It's too busy. It distracts from the players and the game being streamed. I suggest you can do it your way. I always go with a neutral base background. Little bit of detail, as you can see, but nothing that pulls your eye from the game being played. We make that the base, and we go on top of that. We used a different color. Same, if you look, same pattern, different color for Wraith. Some people you'll see, they do this for the camera zooms, and while it's valid, you can do this. They crop it down like this to give more room for other things, but that's great. But if Beast Hunter leans left or right, guess what's going to happen? He's gone. That's why I use almost a full-size window like this. I mean, make him not gigantically huge because we made him gigantically huge. We don't need that on him. We're going to have a lot of Beast Hunter today, everybody. It's all Beast Hunter. Let's make it a little bit smaller in height and then recrop the sides in. Everyone has their own method. I suggest maximizing the player's view space so that the viewers get to see as much of the player and the game as possible, because they're not there to look at your background. They're not there to see your cool art, except during breaks. They're there to watch your players and the game. So make sure that they're the focus, because when we fill up all 9 people, matter of fact, let's see that. Let's add an image. You're going to see it in full view when we do this. Example, Windy City. I happen to have, this is from this weekend stream that'll air tomorrow. This is a capture we did from it. The players and the storyteller, everyone is clearly visible. There's a consistency, and nothing other than my spooky eyes draws your attention away from the game. You have less players. Let's go with a less player one. We've got some of those. Look at that. Less players. These areas with no players, your eyes aren't going to be drawn to because there's no players there. You're fine to put any artwork you want. My suggestion, maximize the game for the players, the viewers, and those who are watching. Especially try not to go tiny player heads because some people watch on a tablet. Some people watch on a phone. We have a few viewers that do that. And if you're on a tablet or phone and you make, let's say Verlyn, if she is this size and you're on a tablet or phone, you got her down here and you make poor Beast Hunter right there beside her. And you have it like this. Are you going to watch anything on a phone? I mean, you can't see them. They're too tiny. You got to think, not everybody watches on their console, not everybody on a computer. So I try to be considerate and make it big enough for those that are on different formats to watch. We'll make him back to his size. Put it in here. Lock him back down. Remember to lock them, because otherwise you will screw up and drag shit you don't want to drag. And then you'll have names all over the place and it looks ugly. And I've done it. I do it constantly and I get mad at myself. It happens. and we'll lock them back. Maximize the screen real estate for the game. Yeah, the red hair, but you're right. And it does, but it doesn't take away from the players. Maddox said the red hair is a drawing thing. Red is a tricky color, everybody. If you have your background or a lot of red in the screen, the human eye is naturally drawn to the color red. So if you do this, understand that whatever's red is going to draw the eye to it, and a red background's particularly bad. We did it with DC and it was horrible. Yep. And the other thing is watch your audio. If somebody is coming in too softly, let them know, hey, up your volume or talk a little louder. Because personally, the worst thing I've dealt with in a stream is watching a stream where one person is real soft and another person is loud. You can't bring the volume up for the soft person because the loud person gets too loud. So try to use your filters. And Chris Evans in chat, great. Now, say we have guest players, we're going to bring guests into the stream, but we don't want the guests to, you don't want to mess up your main layout. It's pretty easy. We'll go over here.
I mean,
this isn't blank anymore, is it? This is Windy City Stream. Best ratio for the camera feeds. The ratio is the same natural ratio of the cameras, which is 640 by 480 or 1920 by 1080. Do not skew the cameras. I did that at first. I made that mistake, and I'm going to show you what I mean. If I skew the camera, let's take me, right? Ta-da. Let me find me. Shanky camera. And if I go in here and I edit my transform on it, and let's say I make my size instead of 361, let me make it 561 wide without changing anything else. Okay? Now let's pull me so you can see me and see what we've just done to poor Shanky. Put it above. There we go. Now let's move me so you can see me. You notice what I just did to myself? I stretched myself. My head is now an egg. I don't advise that. You make an audio only scenes. I don't make an audio only seeds because if it's only ST player audio, I just have them added here. And if I have no audio, I go here and there's no audio. I have them only defined in the scenes I feel why I want them. I use my mixer. There's a back end channel I use sometimes, but that's really advanced stuff that's using crazy mixers. But I don't do an audio whole scene setup. I add them in each one because every scene's different with different people. Let me fix my camera because this is really horrible to me. I always keep whatever the natural camera ratio is, keep that. And we put me back to 3 so that I'm back to my natural ratio. And all you do when you have to resize is just drag and keep it whatever the ratio is. See, look, I'm not egghead. I can make myself real big. I can make myself real small. Let me move me over here. And we can put me back. Kids know I'm streaming and they got to come down and ask something. There we go. But now put me at the bottom. Remember what I said? Layering. Look at that. Don't I look weird coming over my own frame? Drop me below my cutout, please. And there we go. Yeah, that's why Celador, I always keep the native aspect ratio. Otherwise, it's a problem. You start getting the streams where people look either squished or ultra wide. We did it with DC in the beginning. And once I learned what I was doing wrong, I fixed it because it makes us look out of proportion. Now, Beast Hunter looks in proportion. Berlin looks in proportion. I'm in proportion. Now, if we were going to stream this, I would look at my setup, by the way, and I'd go, well, I've got a problem. I am actually too small compared to them. So we will make my head a little bigger. And I'll just crop over here, holding down alternate. Remember that, hold down alternate, and it only just shaves parts of the video off. You can leave what's up here that comes off the screen, but I'll take it off anyway. It doesn't really impact. It's not shown. And now I'm bigger. But there's limitations. If you try to make me real big, look how grainy and pixelated I get. If you have a very small image, making it too big will pixelate everything. And we had that problem in DC, which I've learned to fix. That's why I'm doing this, showing you all the little bad shit I learned in DC that I didn't need to learn. These are all the little things we do for it. And again, you don't have to do it this way. Do it your way. Let's turn our clan symbols back on because I like having those on. They're layered. If we have a guest player, if I change anything, it's going to change it for every stream. Let's not do that. We're going to duplicate this and we're going to go Windy City guest player. What it does, it makes an exact copy of what you just saw, what you have. But now I can go in here and let's add a new person. Let's not add it as text. Let's do it the other way. I still prefer to copy. I'm going to show you a little bug I've learned in this. If I copy Jackie and I paste her, guess what? Look here. There's actually no name pasted. Nothing. So we'll delete that. But if I drag Jackie out of that little grouping, okay, I accidentally put her in the clan symbols. Look at that. We drag her completely out of the grouping. Down here, put her down here. Now I copy Jackie. Now I paste a duplicate. I have a second name. If you leave them in your grouping, it doesn't actually copy it right. And we'll do this one. Abigail's here today. Look, we didn't know it, but she is. We have an Abigail Raw. And we'll put her here. She would be in this spot. Lock it in place. Let's put Jackie back where she goes so that we can collapse these because they clutter. Now we have an Abigail. But when she's not here, look at that. I still have my original scene, everything set. Because a lot of times what we have is this. Take the name. We're going to make a copy of Jackie. Drop it outside the group. Yep. We're going to copy it. What you have a lot of times is going to be this one right here. We'll have Eleanor. Okay. We've got an Eleanor here. She may be over here normally, but she's out. Well, guess what? We got this over here. If I duplicated it, delete that one that I made, and let's go back to this one. If I duplicate this one, I'll make a duplicate and it has a guest player, but it has Abigail or Eleanor in that spot. I can hide it, put the guest there. It doesn't change my original layout. Does it? It does, but it doesn't. It does with some text. I don't trust it. I've never used it. It does it in your chat box. It's kind of an odd. Does OBS support centering, less justify, right justify, and auto spacing, or you have to do it by? Centering of these, you have to do it by eye, unfortunately. I've not found a way. There may be a way I don't know of. When you go to your text, you'll see it does have a thing for alignment. Left, right, center. But it only really helps when you start doing you can now if I do left justify, right justify, that's the only place that they really seem to do it. Everything else in your layout, unfortunately, you're going to have to manually size and space. And that's where you break out the calculator. I've done it. And then I'm resetting the transform because now she's huge. Let's reset that. So back up here in the corner, we drop it right in here. I break out of the calculator and I go into here, transform. Where's pull my name up? Here it is here. We go over here, right click, we go transform, edit transform. I look at the position, the size, and start doing crazy math that I don't want to hurt people with because it's, a way it's a pain, but I'll center them that way. I wish they had a way where I could put it thirds centered. It doesn't. Yep, you can do by pixel by using the arrow keys. That's correct. I do it sometimes. The big thing that I always tell people, remember, is hold down alternate if you want to crop without resizing. Hold down control if you don't want it to snap, because you'll see it'll kind of, when I get close, it snaps. Go down control, it won't snap anymore. And then don't hold down anything if you just want to. And whatever you do, make your text the right size. Don't do it that way because it makes it look bad. I am big on making sure that the people watching can see clearly what is going on at all times. Fuzzy names doesn't help. There you go. We'll reset. We'll put it back down. Yep, exactly. As Mama McStabber said, using text in OBS allows you to turn it off when nobody's here. I've done an overlay with pre-measured, and I'm going to show you that. That's a good point you bring up. Let's set that. Let's get rid of, we'll leave the Eleanor here. Let's change our overlay cutout grid to exactly that. Because I've done that quite a bit, actually. Let me find one of my files that has it. Let's go to, you see it a lot more in my in-between stuff. Let's go overlay names, Archon meetings. Now, here's the problem with this method. It's great for, let me hide all our text names so you can see it. Names, name. Okay. Who's still got Jackie's on there? Let me hide Jackie too. This works great for one scene. But now what happens if a player's not here? If Mickey Bear's not here, he's part of the overlay. Now you'll have a camera feed with Mickey Bear's name, his Twitter handle, no feed. That's why I stopped doing that, because every time a player's absence, and sometimes you get very short notice, I'd have to redesign a whole layout. Instead, I don't include them in the layout. I use just a flat base grid. That way, I turn it on. Who's here? Who's here? Well, we got Jackie. Jackie here. Let's open up our name drop down. Let's turn on storyteller. That's who's here. That way, I have a minimum of work, and you only see names for who's present. If a guest comes and goes, like we've had happen with Astral, he shows up for one scene. Well, the scene he's in, his name's at the bottom. The scene he's not in, I take his name off because he's not there anymore. It's a Brady Bunch style, it is, but it maximizes the view for the players so that everyone watching can see the most of what the players are doing. You have room. You can role play. You can use your hands. You can get contemplative. You can lean in. You've got a full screen, full camera field of view that you can use as part of your role play, because role playing is not just the words. It's the whole emotions. If you watch me during the season finale with the Martin scene, there's scenes where I'm looking down, I'm kind of looking to the side, because I have the camera space to do it. I can do all those movements, and it's not a problem. Yes, I measure everything. I am OCD. I measure all my layouts for alignments. And though I do record, just so you know, I record it as you see it. Other than the only thing I don't do is our recordings do not have the names while we record. And I will show you how I do that. If I record, say I record this, what you're seeing right here. We're recording it. We get done. I get it ready to air. Okay. I'll make a brand new scene. This, we'll call it pre-record. We'll rename this. This is a pre-record, right? How do I do it? Well, let's first, we add the media. Pre-record stream. I'll go browse. Let's go to, I've got whole bunches of them. Past streams. And you're going to see how much stuff I keep. Windy City past streams. Date modified. Here's our season finale. Part 2. No, we want part 1. The first half of the season finale. Use hardware decoding. Don't loop. I turn off show nothing. This is what you'd see. So what do we do? Well, fine. This is what we've pre-recorded. We're going to add our media. We're going to go right down here. We're going to add our bio video. Drop it right over there. Now I'm going to show you a little trick. When I get done adding the bio video, I'm going to add media again. We want our logo, right? Because we got to have our logo and advertise. We add our logo. We'll put it up in the other box. Come here. We put it up here where it goes. Now you'll see I just screwed up our frame lines. No, we're going to add an image. We're going to go right back to our cutout that we keep using. We're going to lay it on top of everything. Because now I just fixed all those lines I messed up. And this is how we air them. And then I just add the names in like you saw before. I added text, Jackie. And we'd put Jackie here. And the reason I pre-record and do it this way is if in post-production I have to do a sharpening effect or a color correction effect or any kind of post-processing to make the video look cleaner, if I pre-record with names, the names also get the effect. If I do not include the names in the pre-recording, I can do all those effects and it doesn't change. And if you want to see whether this helps, I'm going to show y'all the real secret sauce. Y'all ready for this one? Here comes the raw video before I do any post work. Let me add in and show you so I can flip between the two. Processed. And I'm going to show you the post process effect just so you see. You just look at the color on Lifesaver in the right side. See how her color looks better? But if I had names in there, it would screw it all up. So I don't include the names. The backgrounds are done in post. We started doing that. Everyone runs just flat green screen because if you look, everyone's background is perfectly consistent because I do it in post. If I didn't want to do it in post, that's fine too. I could do it live. You got the green file on your computer, Rillin? Yep, she's going to switch to the green file. Yep. You can have the players just go green because one thing you'll find out about Zoom in particular,
so he can show how he can do that
the color correction that Zoom puts on a camera applies to their background. If you watch early Windy City episodes, everybody's background is slightly different in tone. Well, there's a problem with that. What I can do is I'll have her do this, and I will go to Jackie right here. We're going to do a filter, a very thing. We're going to go right here. We'll chroma key her. Let's see what it did. Yep, she's completely gone. And then we will take this. Let's copy my background. Let's paste my background. And we will drop it behind her capture. And now her and I have same background. Perfect. Look, it's even lined up. And if you don't want to do it in post, don't. If your computer can handle green screening every player, green screen every player on your end. Because if she does the same with Zoom, it'll be a slightly different color tone. Your backgrounds will not be the same, even if you use the same image. I have Maddox Twitch name as Zoom compatible with OBS. It works, but is there a better ability call software? Skype is horrible. I hate Skype. It has all kinds of cutouts. Google Meets is bad quality video. It caps out at a different level. The only software I found that has better quality than Zoom was vMix. vMix is $1,200. So you do the math. I've chosen not to do vMix. I have found no other software that has the feature set Zoom has with the quality. Now, there is a problem if you have 12 people in your Zoom for a game, like with our memoriams we've recorded over this past 2 weeks ago. The more cameras you have feeding into Zoom, the lower overall quality you get because it scales down and then you're zooming up. But in an average game, as you can see, Beast Hunter's clear, Berlin's clear. They're using webcams, same as me. Nope, we're not studioing. So.
Yeah, we're not in the studio today using our mirrorless.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And he started talking and he froze.
I'm just working on a normal laptop.
That'll happen. Freezes happen. You accept that. But any other questions in there? I mean, this is a guide on, I went through the settings. If you don't have an NVIDIA card, look for an AMD guide on configuring OBS. There is one out there. They'll tell you the settings. If you don't have AMD or NVIDIA, please get one. Encoding.
And actually,
And
I think on
she's
YouTube,
cutting out a bit
we
again.
will
Something's up
post
today with
links
her
to
setup.
guys
That's because we're not in the
to
studio.
an AMD. I
But
think
I will tell you, if you're trying to do it off of an Intel chip, basically software encoding,
sorry.
it's going to be painful. It's very processor intensive to do it that way. I suggest you have an NVIDIA card or an AMD card. My gaming box is the one that I normally stream the recorded episodes from, has a 3070. But I can tell you right now, the box that you're watching this, that is hosting this stream right this second, has a 1050 video card in it, a lower end card given to me by Urian that is running the stream right now and doing the capture at the same time. So it operates and it works. NVIDIA or AMD really helps a lot. Yes, I pre-record all the Shanky games unless they're a one-shot. The audio will be delayed, and that's because I'm feeding it, because you can't capture OBS in OBS. You get infinite OBS windows. I'm capturing it from one computer by feeding my monitor's output to that computer back to my monitor. And if you have an audio delay issue, you notice in stream or the viewers say it, what you do, you hit this little gear. Go to advanced audio properties. See right here, sync offset? You can add an offset. If the sound comes before the video, add a sync offset. If the video comes before the sound, you go down here to your camera, filter, you add in, let me find it in here. Oh, it's at the top. You go to the top section, a video delay. And then you add a couple milliseconds of video delay if the audio comes after the video. And what you're doing is delaying it to sync them back up. So you know, I have in a live game, there is a 42 millisecond set off sync on guest players because of the Zoom sync, because how Zoom is slightly out of sync sometimes. I run in a live game when I'd live stream or record a 42 millisecond sync offset on the remote player's audio points right here. That is my system. It's based on the speed of my system, but that is just my setup there. So if someone drops or freezes, there's no placeholders, unfortunately. Most of the people who play in my game don't have a lot of drops and freezes. Because I pre-record, if someone drops, I will immediately stop the recording, and then we'll wait for them to come back in, and then we'll pick right back up where we left off, because I don't want, one of the things McStabber Studios does with recorded streams is we don't want tech to negatively impact the viewer streams, what they're enjoying, what they're watching. So the key to doing that is, of course, to not allow tech to be a problem. And to do it, we do it by making sure that I cut out when players drop. We don't take out any other content of the stream. You see every scene as it was played. There's no scripting. There's no, we're going to do an edit here and take out what you said. None of that. But if a player drops, we yank it, because sometimes there is tech. Matter of fact, those who watch Windy City Season 1 will understand, and Season 2 even, Plunder Loot had a lot of drops and disconnects. I edited out the ones I could. The ones I couldn't, because scenes were going on, we dealt with. But there's always, again, that's why I advise make these little notes. Jackie's in Zoom spot 3, Lamar's in Zoom spot 1. So if somebody drops, you can look immediately and reorder the players. Because if Beast Hunter turned his camera off, it would turn into that when he reconnected. Which means you would have him being Jackie. It would look like this. But because I know right here that Lamar's in spot 1, Jackie's in spot 3, I can drag them in Zoom. I mean, look, there's what I'm feeding. And there we go. I've dragged them in Zoom. They're back. And with 6 players getting the camera order, telling, okay, you turn off your camera, you turn off yours, you turn yours on, you turn yours on. That takes forever. Don't just drag them. Mark where they are, capture. And that way the people get the same color correction. If you're going to do some fancy effects, I mean, there's fancy effects. I do my eyes, you'll see in these memoriams a special way. I have a scene within a scene. It's a very advanced trick to green screen 2 different colors with 2 different green screen effects. If anyone's interested, ask me on a Discord how I did it. I'll explain it, but it's a very advanced thing that you have to have like custom contacts to pull off that I have. Verlyn will post the Discord, of course, because she's good at that. I've not seen, let me see, I've never seen guides on it. Let me see if there are. I think there is a setting that involves you allowing to set snap to, but I don't see guides like Adobe. Snap sensitivity T, snap to edge of screen, other sources. You can snap sources to horizontal or vertical center, but that's only center. And that doesn't help much when you're doing 3 cameras because it snaps to the center. And that's not what you want. But my advice is always try to keep as much of the players visible as possible. Because some people are on tablets. Some are blind like me. They need these bigger things to see what's going on. I can do it full feed. I can do it for the whole monitor. I can actually do some odd effects with, you can put an overlay on top of people. I generally don't. You can do what's called Lut Filters. You don't want to, if you got to do a whole window color change, you're better off doing something else. I mean, I could take my background here. We could do this. We could hit a filter on it. We can go and apply a LUT. It's an illumination thing. And I can just change the whole, grayscale it. And we've used this in Premiere, Adobe Premiere, for some other effects for our backgrounds that are too bright when we're trying to kill them some. But I don't normally use it on anything live because I don't generally mess around with a lot of crazy stuff on that. We can do Luma keys. Yep. Streamlabs OBS. Please don't. It has some nice features.
Question in chat.
It is horrible for CPU usage. It is horrible for GPU usage. It is horrible for overall system utilization. And it's always at least five versions behind OBS itself. Yes, they have some nice widgets, makes it easier to add, but everything that you're adding as a widget, you can add from Streamlabs. We use Streamlabs alerts. We just add them as a browser source. And we put in the Streamlabs browser that they put in Streamlabs for you to use. We just cut and paste it and drop it right here. And that's where we get our alerts. Overall, I will say Streamlabs is just, it's not efficient. We used it at first. We used 4 times the CPU resources, 3 times the graphic resources, and ended up with audio dropouts that ruined 2 episodes because we, at the time, pre-recorded 2 episodes at a time. And because the audio got screwed up, we had 2 ruined episodes that could barely be used. So I couldn't use Streamlabs anymore. And I can't recommend it to anybody. Use regular OBS. It's a little clunkier to figure out sometimes. Here's another trick, by the way, if you're doing live. Studio mode is your friend. Right now, you are seeing program mode. Let's go here, transition over. Now you see I have 2 windows. Program is what is going out live in the stream. Preview lets me see ahead of time what I'm planning to do next. So here we go on my preview window. I'm looking at Beast Hunter. I'm looking at Verlyn. We're getting ready to go live, or I'm over here. We're ready to do the pre-roll. And when we're ready, we are going to transition. And then I can go over here and have this waiting. I can double check settings. Then we transition. Tell the players, hey, we're about to go live, everybody. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, going live. And now we're there. Now, what if I have to make a change? That works too. I'm in program preview mode. I'll do a window capture. Brand new window capture. You notice you see it over here, right? Where do you not see it? You don't see it on the stream itself. It's not going out other than my share. If I crop this down like this over here, we drop it here. It's another player. player just came in the game, I could transition, turn off studio mode. You see him. Come over here. You notice I disabled it over here, turn off studio mode. It's gone now. So it lets you make live changes without going live. Studio mode is your friend. Use it. I do a lot. When you're going to break, cue it up. Be ready for it. As soon as it goes to break, there you go. And now I'm back in my preview over here. I can look at the other players who are here. They're still there, but the stream is watching, would be watching the break while we're sitting here talking amongst each other. And we're good to go. We're going to talk to each other. Okay, you got, I'll go over here. We're on the break. I'll be like, okay, we're at the beginning of the break. You got 8 minutes. And then as it get closer to the end, I'm like, okay, we got 3 minutes left, people, 2 minutes left. Break's coming off. Make sure you're back and ready to go. And then we'll transition live. Use your studio mode. It took me a year before I started using it. And then I started kicking myself for not using it. Because it lets you be in break and make sure you're ready. Because otherwise, this is what I'm looking at. Well, great. I could look over at Zoom, but what if you're just a player? You go over here. What if you want, there you go. Now we're seeing what we're looking at. We're ready for it. And then I'll just transition back. Use your studio mode. Took me a while to use it, figure it out. You can even studio mode 2 different scenes. As you can see, I've got one over here with Eleanor, one without. We're in 2 different whole scenes. That's fine. We'll transition. And then when we were live, there's what you see. Use it. These are all the little things I've learned the hard way. I'm not going to go into the really weird ASIO audio setups. One other thing is if you're trying to do odd things with audio, you'll see over here, you've got tracks. This is what tracks things are recorded on. It streams out track 1, but if you're recording it for YouTube and you don't want, say, audio, your alerts, or you don't want your background music, you could turn it off on other channels and then use that other channel for your recording. It's more post stuff. One last bit I recommend. Where did we put Jackie's background? We lost her background. Look at that. I turned her off. It's on this one over here. I use a background music. If you pre-record, please don't pre-record with the background music. Please don't. Because if the volume is wrong on your background music and you pre-recorded with the background music, you can't change the background volume levels. If it's too loud, it's too loud and there's nothing you can do. I add them right here. We've got windy background. Loop it because you want it to repeat. Use the hardware. There's our background. Now it's pretty loud. It would be loud. Let me bring it down here. I'll turn on my background music down here. Let's see if you can hear it. Let's make it hearable. Background music right here. We'll monitor and output. There we go. Now you hear the background music. If I recorded it like this, I guess you're screwed because nobody'd be able to hear me. But by adding it extra, turn it off, adjust it. So that's how I do the background music. And the only reason I have background music, if there's a pause in conversation, the viewers don't get silence. They know that their stream didn't lock up because there's music still playing. That was actually a DJ friend of mine who suggested that, and because he does a lot of professional DJ work, and he said, never have pure silence unless you intend to. So any other questions? Because I think I've covered all the major points. This will be on YouTube. It'll be on our channel tomorrow at noon. Do I ever add sound effects in post? I've done it for one game and one game only. I've done it with Wraith. I did it once in Wraith, and it was done in Wraith solely for altering my voice to make a coin cry. That's the only way to describe it. I was making a coin cry. For those that are new to our channel and watching this, we do not sublock any of our content. So if you want to watch the video on demand here on Twitch, it's free. Just watch it. It'll be up for 60 days. After 60 days, Twitch takes it down. It'll be on our YouTube tomorrow at noon, and it'll be there until the end of time. I don't take videos down. I keep even the bad quality I had at the start of DC by Night. And if you want to see the difference in what we've learned and what I'm trying to show people, if you watch the first episodes of DC by Night, you'll see how much we've changed in terms of our layout, our quality, not distracting the viewers, stuff like that. If you vape, these are the handiest things ever to buy. It's just a little mute box for an XLR mic that you can hit the button and go silent. Because, some people vape. I'm not going to stop vaping. So I mute myself. It's handy. Plus, people in Zoom don't want it. No, it didn't cut out. That was me muting it. See, I got a mute button. I hit the button and I'm cut out. That's all it is. It's a cough box is what it's called. Yep. That's the beauty of this little box. We have one for every mic. Any other questions? Otherwise, I think we'll be good to go. I don't know how long we've been streaming. Let me look and see. Wow, almost 2 hours. Holy shit, no wonder my voice is getting wore out. If you have any questions, anybody, and you don't think of them till later, pop on the Discord. I mean it when I say I don't mind helping people. I help people all the time. I've given gear recommendations. I've told people what not to buy because we bought the wrong shit more than once. I've told people why we've bought certain things, why, what I recommend for entry gear, what I recommend for as you start getting bigger and more budget in your gear. I don't mind helping people because I don't want people to waste money. No, I didn't go into the equipment. That is a whole dive there, Celador Mythica. I will give you this biggest piece of advice on equipment. If you have more than one person in a room, please do not use USB microphones because Windows does not sync USB correctly. And if you have two USB microphones in the same room on the same computer, they will constantly lose sync and an echo will come, go, get worse, go away, get worse again. You will have never-ending amounts of audio sync issues that you will never get past. If you're going to have multiple people, get a mixer, single interface mixer, and run your mics through it, or you will have no end to the world of pain you have given yourself. We made that mistake. We tried double Yetis, and we could never get them to stop echoing because the USBs are never going to be in sync because they clock themselves, and you will never get good sound. If you're going to go that route, because you have multiple people, use a mixer and plug your mics into the mixer. If you have one person, Yetis work great. Just make sure you're in a quiet room because they pick up everything. As I tell people, a fly can fart one room over and the Yeti will pick it up. Yep, there's a whole tech channel for it. When it comes to mics, Relin and I use shotgun mics sometimes. We use at our computer desks, Shure mics, MV7s. I've got a full 12-channel mixer we use recording. We use mirrorless for us. That's going into a lot of money spent. I don't advise people to do that unless you're planning to do this long-term. A cheap webcam works great. A cheap microphone works great. Use what you can afford. Do not go into debt to do it. Please don't. Odds are most channels are never going to be profitable. We're not profitable. We still haven't paid off the equipment that we've bought because I went into debt and I bought shit I didn't need. We've got 12 microphones we never use because we were trying to find the right microphones. So ask in the tech channel, ask in the streaming advice channel on the Discord. I will help you. Haunted Chronicles, who was chatting earlier, he will help you. We've both streamed. We have different setups, different ways of doing it, different budgets. So if there's nothing else, I think we will call this a good done stream. And I do thank you, everyone who came out to learn some stuff because I've tried to help people and, I like to try to make things better for everybody because there's no guides on this. And I don't feel it's secret. I don't feel it's a hidden thing that shouldn't be shared. The more people that are streaming RPGs and putting out good quality shows, the more chances that somebody out there is going to find something they like, and the more chances the hobby is going to get more people included. And the more people in the hobby, the better for us all. That's been mine from the beginning. We've always felt that way. That's why we shout out our friends As you can see here in the chat right now, we have a list of friends. These are other shows that we recommend you go see because they put out great content, not just vampire, great RPG content. Go check them out. We pay it forward. We like to shout out those who put out good things and that also like paying it forward. That's a big thing. Tomorrow, we have a special stream Sunday at 5 p.m. It is Windy City After Dark Memoriams. Now that we're between seasons, you've seen and heard from these players bits of their backstory that you want to know more details on. Well, guess what? Tomorrow, we're going to show you 3 memoriams. Half the coterie is going to show you a bit of their past that you didn't see before, and you're going to get an insight into who they are and why they are who they are. So you're going to find out tomorrow about Nolan, Jackie's sire. You're going to find out how Eleanor and Jackie became friends. And you're going to find out the consequences sometimes of major events in the Kindred world. It's not a long episode. It's a little over an hour, but you're going to get these peaks. And it's got an amazing cast. We had 10 plus the storyteller involved with a rotating cast in these scenes based on who wanted to be in each scene. It was an undertaking, but it's an amazing content to see. Please watch it. This week, during the week, we have no other content this week, but next Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, you will have Tiss back with Call of Cthulhu, the London Esoteric Society. That'll be their premiere. Season 1 of their Call of Cthulhu. If you love the cock, that's what Tiss is streaming. Premiere. And then, of course, next Sunday at 5 p.m., we have the remaining 3 memoriams, in which those you will find out about Roscoe, how his past became who he was, and you'll find out some Destiny and Lamar info, events that changed who they are. So those are great. And then after the memoriams, I got to look at our timeline here. Coming up on the 23rd, we have a storyteller, dungeon master, GM panel. We have 7 different DMs, GMs, and storytellers right now lined up on it, of all kinds of backgrounds. We're going to talk about differences in games that are streamed, differences in games that are on Discord, differences in games that are tabletop, because each one is a different format, different kind of game. We're going to talk about everyone's style, different games they run. You'll see some familiar faces. You'll actually see some new faces. We've got brand new to our channel, somebody who hasn't streamed before on the channel or elsewhere. He's going to be one of them on there. So you're going to get to see a wide range of people talking about how they run games, their style, and the differences in each of the formats. So it should be good, some good stuff. I don't know how long it's going to run, but, and so, you know, we returned for Windy City After Dark on the 30th, but season 3 returns June 6th. We are back Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
You do the story so far summary on the 30th.
Coterie the players got a month off. I didn't. But we're going to be back doing it because we love Windy City. Please join the Discord, as Rolin's posted the link a couple times. We cast our shows from Discord. If you're on the Discord, look at the casting couch. That is where we cast our shows. So if you're a member of the Discord, you may get to play with us. We like to play with different people. I have a Zasser Kala game I'll be casting soon, and one day a Demon the Fallen game I'll be casting. Let's see. Check out our merch. Rolin already posted that link. We've got some Windy City merch. We've even got movie poster made by our amazing Combustion Girl, who's one of the viewers. Trying to think if I missed anything. I think I covered the major points. Yep. And as the final thing, those who are frequent viewers of this channel will know, this is
just doing the outro that you
in the words of Chops. Mental health, please. It's no joke. It's no laughing matter. It's not something to take lightly. Please reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, reach out to loved ones, reach out to those that you haven't talked to in a while. Make sure they're okay, because odds are they not. A lot of people are going through struggles, and there's been a lot of people having problems right now. So please check in on them. And if you are someone who suffers from mental health issues like myself, don't hesitate to reach out and talk to somebody. It can be a professional. It can be a friend. It can be somebody. Please reach out, because we've lost not members of our community, but ones close to members of our community, a number of them recently. And it's a serious situation. So please reach out. Take care of yourself. And thank you again, Beast Hunter, Verlaine. Thank you for helping me with this. And I thank you all. And I will see you tomorrow for Windy City After Dark. Good night, everybody.